Hello, brilliant beauties. Happy Sunday, fun day. I'm fresh off of the beach. My first time training in a ball cap. I love ball caps. It's like one of my favorite things is just toss on that baseball hat. Beach hair, don't care. Oh yeah, I can't believe I just did that on camera. But it feels a little silly. I'm like kind of like, oh, does my hair look okay? And I'm like, no, it actually doesn't. And you know what? I think that's just fine. Anybody else? Anybody? Sunday fun day, having a good time. I hope that this message finds you smiling and doing well. Today, I wanted to share part of why I decided to go live on my Sunday fun day. I wanted to share a little bit about the high performance concept of congruence because it matters so much. A lot of the clients that I'm working with are women who are struggling to give up something, to give up toxic carbohydrates or alcohol or just foods and drinks that no longer serve their best and highest self. And they're really struggling with it. And it made me think back to who I was before I decided to ditch the drink. So, for me, in my own personal journey, I have had to give up alcohol, and it has been the most amazing experience. So, let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm Dr. J. I'm often the rebel in the room. I'm the visionary who believes we can have our cake and eat it too. I mean, why on earth would you bake a cake and not sit down and enjoy it, sweetheart? On a more serious note, I really believe we can reach high levels of success in our careers while also experiencing joy and fun in our personal lives, while nourishing our health and well being and feeling sexy in our skin. I used to believe success required sacrifice. My operating system led me to ultra high levels of success. Courageous career change and a side hustle helped me purchase the $1.5 million house, put a horse in the yard for my daughter, and a Porsche in the garage for myself because that's my kind of horsepower. Most importantly, I did it without a dime of child support or maintenance. And I did it while my daughter was watching and taking note of what's possible for her life. This operating system, though, also led me to a battle for my life. And I faced an unexpected cancer diagnosis that was delivered 2 days after being laid off and only 5 months after making this wild dream come true. So, right when I thought I had it all figured out, it felt like my entire life fell apart. I decided to downsize and sell it all, move across the country to the horse capital of the world where my daughter could be positioned to make her wildest dreams come true of jumping in the Olympics and where I could enjoy some beach vibes. And what I've learned along that journey is that we can reframe our thinking to reclaim our life. This has been something I've been doing for a long time in the aftermath of divorce, in battles with my daughter's father, in feeling like I wasn't enough as the educator moving into government and politics, and then as the political leader and innovator moving into high tech environments. I never felt like I was enough. I always felt like there was something everyone else had that I didn't have. And what I've learned is that that's all a construct of our mind. And it's all a part of how we see the world, which informs the beliefs we carry, which informs our thinking and our actions. So I want to unpack some of this mental, I guess it's really mental training. And I learned these skills and tools at MIT, and I feel like they're the game changer. They're the secrets to success. And sadly, this information just isn't widely distributed. It's not taught in schools. You've likely never seen what I'm going to share with you. And so let's dive in. Grab your journal, and I want you to write who I am matters more than what I do. I want you to really think about that. It's all about this journey. See, we got the wrong memo. We got the memo that it's competition, right? And now in 21st century prosperity and the research on business success in 21st century, it's about collaboration and community. And you see that the best companies in the world are fostering a spirit of collaboration. They're creating community. And that is a different operating system that we can lean into and embrace to experience high levels of business success. I always say that I study the skills that pay the bills. I didn't realize that was a part of my uniqueness. But as I look back, I was, even as a classroom teacher, way back in 2000, I was always positioning my students to succeed in the world. And that meant I was studying the job skills reports. I was studying the skills that people need to thrive in the world of work. Later, legislatively, we started calling this college and career readiness. And it turns out that these were also the skills that I could train leaders across the globe in 13 countries, that these are the skills that are most needed. As entrepreneurs, I was just studying this on my drive home from the beach. Today, it's persuasion and influence, that those are the skills that most entrepreneurs lack, and that's their glass ceiling, is their ability to influence. And so that has me doing some thinking, and I'll be going live about that in the upcoming weeks. So it's all about this journey of becoming. It's who we are in the path towards those big, scary, ambitious goals. You see, I think of things through, as a mathematician, the normal distribution curve. And I ask myself, if are most people doing it? And if the answer to that is yes, then I know I shouldn't be. Most people eat their emotions. Most people consume toxic alcoholic beverages without thought. Most people eat highly addictive foods, again, without thought. I'm very grateful for the first conscious cleanse I ever did. It was with one of my graduate students who was going through a difficult divorce. She had been a stay at home mom and was a mother of six. And when she asked me to do this with her, I thought, no way. At the time, I loved Italian food, Mexican food. I didn't realize that I should be paying attention to how food makes me feel. This was back in 2013. The thought that food should lead me to an energized feeling was so foreign to me. And so now I started keeping a food journal. This was how I learned that alcohol was very destructive for me personally. You see, during COVID, we drank like it was going out of style. I think I drank enough during 2020 for the rest of my living life. I have no desire to drink anymore because it made me feel fluffy, fatigued, and foggy. So, that for me is the truth about alcohol. That is the truth about highly addictive foods that I turn to eat my emotions. And so when I stand in that truth of fluffy, fatigued, and foggy, that I get brain fog, I'm not as sharp, that I'm fatigued and I'm kind of begrudgingly going through the motions in the day, and that I'm feeling fluffy. And if I'm being honest, I'll just use the F word. I'm feeling fat, right? My belly bloat made me feel fat. My muffin top, I was having to buy big flowy shirts to kind of cover it up and feel comfortable in my own skin. Now, my friends, I got a six pack of abs, and there is nothing that tastes as good as fit feels. But it took me time, right? And so I want you to extend grace to yourself. I heard Brendan Burchard tell us, as high performance coaches, draw a line in the sand and make this the day that a year from today, you are going to be the healthiest version of yourself. That's a big goal. And I look back in 2019 when I said yes to that. Whoo, I made some changes. Then 2020 came along and I packed on, ironically, 19 pounds. When I was so frustrated with myself that I wanted to get my body back. My favorite jeans did not fit. I was struggling to button them. They're over $200, so I wasn't quick to go and buy a new pair. I was determined to get into those jeans again. And I started a food journal. And in that journal, I would write down what I ate. Because I was telling myself, I'm like 80-20, I eat healthy. It turns out, no, I'm just really good at breakfast. By lunch, I'm sliding downhill. In the afternoon, all bets are off. That was my reality. And so my food journal helped me face the music, right? As women, we can be data driven, right? We can use that masculine energy of aggressiveness, decisiveness, determination, discipline. We can strategize using our masculine energies. And then we can nurture and nourish and collaborate and be in community and use our intuition as our guide and feminine energies. So we can blend those two energies together to experience greater joy holistically in our lives. So today we're going to talk a lot about that because I believe when we change women's lives, we change their families, their communities, the workplaces, and the world. So the way that we show up, who we are, gives others hope. I've seen so many people, I would be bald here with you today in the aftermath of that aggressive cancer diagnosis. But I used both my masculine and feminine energies to know when to be fierce and when to be gentle with myself. And I fought like hell against the most aggressive tumor type you can have. And it's Ki-67 protein on a scale of 0 to 20 plus, describing how that tumor was going to grow and how these cells were going to multiply, was a 51. In the aftermath of layoff, I couldn't just go get that appointment. I had all kinds of health insurance hurdles to jump through. And let me tell you this, I got fierce. Sugar multiplies cancer cells, so I eliminated all sugar. In the month of December, I now know I can do anything. Superpower. I can do anything because I ate 0 morsels of sugar during the month of December in 2022. And the most beautiful thing, going back to that food journal, what I noticed is the days after I drank, I craved high sodium foods. I wanted Chinese takeout. I wanted pizza. I wanted burger and fries. I wanted green chili smothered anything. Well, I want that almost every day, right? And I started to notice that if I eliminated alcohol, I could eliminate a host of other bad cravings. So I cut alcohol. I almost immediately dropped 20 pounds. I started to feel good about myself again. And it was that discipline to say, I'm going to go 5 days with no alcohol. Because here's the thing, alcohol takes 72 hours to leave your system. So what I was realizing is there was never really enough time for my body to be alcohol free, because it'd be a couple days no drinking and then drinking, a couple more days and then drinking. So my body was constantly working through those toxins. And so I'm wondering if that's true for you. We also lie to ourselves and say we like the taste of it. I used to say I just love a full-bodied red wine. And thanks to Annie Grace's book, This Naked Mind, I learned that's not true. The first time you drank that, it was so disgusting. You actually had to condition your palate to enjoy it. So while I thought, I told myself, oh, I love whiskey, I love red wine, I love margaritas, I love IPAs, it turns out all of those things were actually really gross the first time I had them. The other truth that I learned thanks to This Naked Mind was that because alcohol is so addictively designed, it is designed for you to consume more and more and more of it. So if you take an honest look at your drinking now versus what it used to be, you're likely consuming a lot more. And so I just want you to sit in this invitation to take an honest look and to see the truth for yourself, because it is the truth that will set you free. I also believe you don't have to do this by yourself. Scripture teaches us that we can do all things through Christ who brings us strength. And that is so true. So I want to walk you through this ladder of imprints. And I like to call it my identity ladder. I'm forming an identity. And the bottom rung is experience. So how do we get ourselves into this mess where we're behaving in ways that are not aligned with the best and highest version of ourselves? And I want you to hang in there with me, because after we geek out, I've got a little quiz to help you see, are you a true high performer, or are you just that high achiever, plummeting and scaling the peaks, plummeting to the valleys, scaling the peaks? You will exhaust yourself, and that will lead you to very unhealthy places. And I want you positioned to be the best, the top percent in your field. That's what I specialize in. Average mediocrity is of zero interest to me. I always look at standard deviations above the norm and what are the norms in those environments. I've been studying leadership since 4th grade, thanks to Mrs. Davis. I absolutely love looking at what the best leaders in the world do. And each and every day, I believe we lead the most difficult person on the planet, ourselves. That's why we're going to chime in on, or zone in on, this ladder of identity. So the first is experience. I just want you to describe in your journal, take a couple minutes, push pause, and describe the experiences you've had this week. For a few of my clients, they're working themselves to the bone. They're hurried, they're hustling, they've got high degrees of stress and worry and overwhelm, and they're feeling exhausted. And often exhaustion comes because the tasks we're doing are not aligned with our strengths. That when the tasks are aligned with our strengths, we actually feel inspired. We multiply ourselves because we're thriving in the challenge. So challenge is a very unique thing for us to look at as high performers, because there are things that challenge me when a customer or one of my clients comes to me with a challenge with their weight or their health, with a challenge of how they're thinking, with a challenge with their partner or their children. So if it's in the domain of career, health, or relationships, I thrive because I absolutely love that workspace. When the challenge is some kind of technical funnel build, anything high tech related, I'm like, ah, and I get exhausted and burnt out really fast because that's not my zone of genius. And so I want you to be thoughtful of burnout doesn't have to be the norm for you, right? So most of my clients are in this work, 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 hurry and hustle, exhausting themselves. Everyone gets the best of me. At the beginning of the day, because they're consuming so many toxins, they're not waking with a full tank. So they're waking with their tank 2/3 full, and then problem 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By the midday, decision fatigue has set in. The discipline and determination tank is empty. They're feeding themselves garbage, grabbing things quick and go. And then they're sometimes yelling and screaming at their kids. I know this story well because it was me at one point. So they're eating these toxins, right? Consuming alcohol to relax, which actually alcohol is a depressant. So it's not going to lead you to relaxation. It is going to lead you to depression. And then it's going to mess up your sleep patterns. And then you're going to wake feeling foggy. And you're going to be filled with inflammation and fatigue. And then that's how you're starting the next day. So that is leaving us feeling exhausted and drained. The next rung of that ladder is perspective. So when we have this experience of stress, overwhelm, anxiety, we look at the world, and often when we make these poor food choices, so again, we're talking about consumption of toxins here today, we have this perspective that I earned it, or I deserve it. I deserve that chocolate cake because I had a hard day. I deserve the glass of wine or half bottle. It's not that bad. It's just this one time. I'll start tomorrow. Quit putting off the best of yourself to another day, my friends. Next rung is beliefs. We often don't think about. We go through experience, what we see, and then thoughts and actions. Most people kind of have an understanding or practicing self-awareness and see that they are selecting data from their experience. That's their perspective. They know how they see things matters. And then they form some thoughts and take action. But what we really need to do is look at what beliefs are in between what we see and how we think. Because what we see in the world informs a belief. For example, I used to believe that success required sacrifice. I used to believe gaining weight was a part of getting older. I used to believe that losing weight in your 40s was hard. I used to believe it's inevitable to get a little bit fat as you get older. I used to believe that life's a competition. I used to believe that you have to embrace the suck. And the thoughts that come alongside those beliefs are comparisonitis. We start comparing ourselves to others. We're looking externally. We're feeling like we're never enough, and we're feeling unworthy. And those actions are anxious. They're resentment based. We start looking around and going, well, they're not doing this. I am. I'm so much better, but I'm not happy. I'm grumpy, right? And that is what I like to call the ruin your day cycle, right? You're comparing yourself to others. You're never enough. And because you're never enough, you keep looking at others for that validation. And the more you look to others, the more you see who's better than you. And then you start to feel a little unworthy. And then that unworthiness causes you to look externally and see who you're better than, to feel a little bit of dopamine about why it's worth it, why this sacrifice is worth it. So we've got comparisonitis and your self-worth. I want you to make that in a circle, okay? So comparisonitis, let's go on the left side, little arch with an arrow to self-worth, another little circle to comparisonitis. If you stay in that loop, you will find yourself in a place of disease, destroyed relationships, and a massive gap. See, success in your career only is not truly success. success while destroying your family and your relationships and your health, that's not success. The world's highest performers, part of what I love is they have a different playbook, right? So their experience is, for me, trust and surrender. I trust that I'm going to be divinely guided through the day. I trust that everything that needs to get done today will get done today. I strategically plan and manage the minutes so that my high vibrational tasks that require the best of me, my most creative, generous spirit, those are my first morning tasks. The mundane, I do not give low vibrational tasks the best vibrational space on my calendar. Those get placed around 2 and 3 p.m. strategically so that I can churn and burn and feel really good about checking those things off of my list. The other thing that's really important is reverse engineering your meal plan. I know that I have faced decision fatigue and that my discipline tank is waning around 2 p.m. I know that 2 p.m. and the choices I make between 2 p.m. and 6 whenever I quit eating and 9 whenever I go to bed, that those choices determine the quality of my future day. The best day doesn't start with your morning routine. Your best day starts at 2 p.m. So we've got to reverse engineer what are the things you can have on hand. I have a very clean protein powder that I import from Ireland because they treat their dog food better than we treat our human food. And I have that mixed with a little bit of really creamy oat milk. Shake that up, and it's like a delicious chocolate shake at 2 p.m. So it satisfies the sweet craving, and I'm nourishing my body with a very clean protein that helps repair my muscles. Then I fast forward. I have a lovely salad with smoked salmon on top, tomatoes, cucumbers, whatever kinds of veggies I can toss on top of that. And as I'm eating that, I don't feel resentment. I don't look at, oh, I wish I could have a slice of pizza. I look at it and it's how I see things. Again, that perspective. I don't deserve, it's not a treat for me to put toxins in my body. That's not a treat. We've got to get in a new pattern of thinking. It is a treat to nourish my body with foods that are grown at the farmer's market locally that didn't have to sit on a truck to get shipped to me with covered in pesticides. It is a treat to nourish my body with health and wellness. It is strength to overcome the addictive design of alcohol and toxic foods. It is emotional intelligence to manage my emotions. I see myself as emotionally brilliant as I can practice the awareness of all the 87 emotions. Thank you, Brene Brown, for counting them all for us. No wonder they're tiring, right? I can see the emotions passing like clouds on the horizon and just be the awareness of them. I don't have to eat them all. Took me a while during cancer to realize, like, what do I do if I'm not eating all my emotions? Our challenges are opportunities for us to learn. So I form a belief. Again, that belief is I don't eat toxins. I don't. And using the words I don't is 8 times more effective in behavioral change and transformation than the words I can't. I can't is weak and whiny and disempowers us. I don't is an identity statement. It says something about who you are. I don't miss my workouts. I don't put myself last. I don't consume toxins. There is strength in those words, my friends. And I want you to borrow my strength in this moment. I know some of the women who are going to come across this are going to be having this divinely shared with them to say, hey, will you be my buddy? Because you can't do this alone. You need somebody to walk alongside you because the addictive design is so strong. The cultural marketing to our society is so strong. Have you ever noticed it? You watch a sporting event, you see the commercial for a toxin and you want it and you go get it. Sometimes I really am grateful for the moments when I've been broken on a tight budget because I couldn't afford those things. It turns out I could manage my budget with overnight oats and quinoa and all of these nutrient dense foods. Costs a lot less to eat healthy if you're strategic about it. That's something I'd love to work with you on if that resonates with you. So let's think about our thoughts. Instead of comparisonitis and looking externally, our thoughts are looking inward. And I want to share with you this little piece on ego versus soul. So ego is an external look, soul is an internal look. Ego seeks to serve itself, soul seeks to serve others. Ego seeks outward recognition, soul seeks inner authenticity. Ego sees life as a competition, soul sees life as a gift. Ego seeks to preserve self, soul seeks to preserve others. Ego looks outward, soul looks inward. Ego feels lack, soul feels abundance. Ego is mortal, soul is eternal. Ego is drawn to lust, soul is drawn to love. Ego seeks wisdom, soul is wisdom. Ego enjoys the prize, soul enjoys the journey. Ego is cause to pain, soul is cause of healing. Ego rejects God, soul embraces God. Ego seeks to be filled, soul is eternal wholeness. Ego is me, soul is we. So I want you to think about, are you looking inward and practicing so much self-love? And that could simply be, like for me, whenever I was really struggling with the changes in my breasts during post-surgery and the radiation and how it had changed my right breast so much, and how weight loss had affected the shape of my breasts, and how I seemed to be surrounded by people who really valued fake breasts. And I was asking myself, is that for me? And I thought, no, I value natural beauty. I was raised to value natural beauty, and I want to stand in my natural beauty. And so I had to do some inner work. I would massage this lovely goat milk lotion that my friend makes into my breasts every morning and look at myself and see my beauty. And a lot of that was thanks to this woman, Jamie Kern Lima, who she looked at her rosacea and found beauty in her natural self. And I think that if we can tune our thoughts into self-love, into seeing the beauty of our soul, our ego is always going to tell us we're not enough and that there's more to achieve. And as high achieving women, we have a relationship with ego, but I want you to think of that as someone on your team that you're managing with great intention. And that your soul, which is love, if your thought every day is simply, how can I show love and light in this world? Your actions will change. Things will be in divine flow. Miracles will start happening. Problems will solve themselves. It's the most amazing place to be. You can make shift happen, as I like to say, from anxious, worried, overwhelmed to divine flow and peace and prosperity. And there's a lot of cognitive dissonance trying to live in these two worlds. It's not easy, but we've got to make the leap. So I want you to think about this notion of perspectives, beliefs, and thoughts. I'm going to share some perspectives, beliefs, and thoughts of a health-conscious woman. A health-conscious woman sees health as a priority. The perspective is health is foundational to a fulfilling and productive life. The belief, my health is my most valuable asset. Without it, I cannot perform at my best. Therefore, the thought is, I need to nourish my body with wholesome foods, avoid toxins, and maintain optimal health and energy. So the actions are strategically planning. Plan those meals. Make it simple. The healthiest people eat really boring meals. You can be boring in your meal plan. Trust me, it is worth it. So health is priority. Whereas a high achieving woman who's in that scale the peak, plummet to the valley, this woman has a different belief system. She believes in success over health. Her perspective, professional success is more important than personal health. The belief, I need to work hard and make sacrifices to achieve my goals. The thoughts, I'll focus on my health later. Right now, my career takes precedence. This to-do list takes precedence. So which of those ladders are you climbing? The ladder that says health is foundational to a fulfilling and productive life. My health is my most valuable asset. I nourish my body with wholesome foods and avoid toxins to maintain optimal health and energy. Is that the ladder you're climbing? Or are you putting professional success above your personal health? And if so, how long are you going to do that? Are you going to wait until your health comes crashing down to make that shift? So let's play a little game. I'm going to ask you 10 questions, and you just need to write down A or B. This is going to help you determine, are you a high performer or a peak performer? High performers consistently outperform the competition while maintaining their health and well-being and quality relationships. Peak performers sacrifice and plummet to the valley to recover to scale the next peak. So let's do this. Question 1, how do you prioritize your daily schedule? A, I always make time for exercise, healthy meals, and self-care activities. B, I focus on work tasks first and fit in health-related activities if I have time. Question 2, how do you handle stress and deadlines? A, I use stress management techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or taking breaks. B, I push through the stress and long hours to meet deadlines and often sacrifice rest. Question 3, how often do you consume processed or fast food? A, rarely. I prefer cooking healthy whole foods and avoid processed options. B, frequently. I rely on convenience foods due to my busy schedule. Question 4, how do you feel about taking time off work? A, I regularly take time off to recharge and maintain my health. B, I feel guilty taking time off and often work through vacations or weekends. Question 5, what is your approach to sleep? A, I prioritize getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night for optimal health. B, I often sacrifice sleep to get more work done, averaging less than 6 hours a night. Question 6, how do you handle work-life integration? A, I set clear boundaries between work and personal time to ensure balance. B, my work often spills over into my personal time, making it hard to balance. Question 7, how do you approach self-care? A, I have regular self-care routines and make time for activities that nourish my mind and body. B, self-care is usually an afterthought, something I get to only if there's time. 8, what drives your sense of accomplishment? A, accomplishments are measured by both professional success and personal well-being. B, professional success and recognition are my primary measures of achievement. Question 9, how do you approach your long-term health? A, I regularly engage in preventative health measures like healthy living and routine checkups. B, I focus on immediate tasks and goals, planning to address health later or as issues arise. Question 10, how do you feel at the end of the day? A, energized and content, knowing I've taken care of both my work and my health. B, exhausted and drained, feeling like there's never enough time for everything. You probably noticed a pattern in these responses. If you had mostly A's, you align with the health conscious high performer. High performers have remarkable clarity about who they are, their interactions with others, and what has made them successful. That's their clarity. We have a clarity worksheet that we work through in my high performance coaching frameworks. And they also know how to manage energy, and how we manage our energy affects who we show up as. So there's a dynamic interplay between our psychology and physiology. The biobehavioral choices we make to manage our energy affect who we are in our relationships, whether those are business relationships or personal relationships. So if you are that health conscious high performer, you prioritize your health and well-being. You understand its importance for sustained success. If you scored mostly B's, you're more in alignment with that peak performer who sacrifices her health in exchange for professional accolades. And I want you to reconsider your approach to balance and looking at both your personal health and well-being and your professional ambitions. If you have a mix of each, consider what areas of your life might benefit from more balance and attention to your health. I want you focusing on your health and well-being. Draw that line in the sand. Make today the day. I also want to extend an invitation to you to join my Doubt to Daring Masterclass. It's going to be July 15th through 18th. Our health and well-being is critical to daring greatly in our lives and achieving ultra high levels of success in our business. Many of you might be watching this and in a position to pivot, or preparing for a promotion, or launching another arm of your business. If that's you, I want to see you in that masterclass. We're going to cover your uniqueness and how to stand tall in your confidence, how to be more courageous in your business and in your career, and most importantly, how to live a life that's characterized by optimized health and well being. You can feel sexy in your skin. It's totally possible. I never ever thought. I was the queen of buying the really flattering clothes that hugged those rolls just a little tight and snug. And yet, every time I glanced at myself in the mirror, I wasn't proud of the woman I saw. And in this journey of dropping 48 pounds, of living a life characterized by vibrant health, optimal energy, and just, I guess it's optimal health and vibrant energy. It's getting a little late. It's probably getting close to time for me to go to my sound bath. Tonight I'm going to do an Epsom salt bath. I got a little too much sun at the beach, so I want to do some Epsom salt baths with chamomile and lavender and just release the toxins. Watch them wash down the drain, literally, and visualize that. Embrace self-love and look at all of the things that I did over the weekend. Belly roll laughing as the waves plummeted me as I tried to remember the surfer that I used to be whenever I was in my teens and 20s, and to just laugh and be fully present, to experience love and gratitude, and to express thanks, and to be present. I didn't open my laptop once in 2.5 days. It was magnificent. I'm really proud of myself for that. And I want to encourage you to do some things that make yourself proud, because it's this full cup. What's inside will run over in times of challenge. With that, I want to read you this. I don't have this in front of me because I wasn't planning on it, but I know exactly where it's at. So hold on for a moment. All right, here we go. What's in your cup? Okay. Whatever is in your cup spills out during challenging moments. So let's grab your imaginary cup. For me, I have a cup of matcha. Delicious matcha tea, nourishing my body. So you're holding a cup of coffee when someone comes along and bumps into you, shakes your arm, and makes you spill coffee everywhere. Why'd you spill the coffee? Because someone bumped into me. Wrong answer. You spilled the coffee because there was coffee in your cup. Had there been tea in your cup, you would have spilled tea. Whatever's inside the cup will spill out. Therefore, when life comes along and shakes you, which will inevitably happen, whatever is inside you will come out. It's easy to fake it until you get rattled. So we're faking this self-confidence. We're faking love. We're faking abundance. And when we get rattled, the behaviors we see are the greatest indicator of your perspectives, beliefs, and thoughts. See, often we just think of experience, and we're taught in schools cause and effect. That's experience and action, rungs of the ladder. We skip perspectives, beliefs, and thoughts. And I want you to slow down, because when I see people rattled and I see people getting really frustrated and irritated with other people, that's the first indication that I have that they don't love themselves. And because they don't love themselves, they can't show love to others. It's when you pour love in your cup, it spills out when you get rattled. You can extend grace. I had someone call me today and said, oh my gosh, this person, and they're doing this and that, and it's crazy, and na. And how should I respond? How do I get out of this situation? Should I ghost them? Should I block them? Should I say X, Y, Z? And we talked a little bit about how to communicate a high standard for your business clients and maybe how to fire a client. And then I had this realization. I said, if really life is all about love and the expression of love, and we're in a classroom, not a courtroom, right? Our ego wants us to think we're in a courtroom of right and wrong. We're in a classifying and sorting machine, and we're all seeking the top. I've lived there. I love to compete and win. Yet our soul knows that we're on a sacred journey to learn and to love and to express love and light in every encounter. So what if instead you said, it sounds like you're going through a really hard time right now. I'm sending you loads of love and light energy, and let it be. Watch problems dissolve when all you pour is radiant love and light into the world. So ask yourself this: when life gets tough, what spills over out of your cup? Is it joy, gratitude, peace, and humility? Or is it anger, bitterness, a victim mentality, and quitting tendencies? Life provides the cup. You choose how to fill it. So today and this week, let's fill our cups with gratitude, forgiveness, joy, words of affirmation, resilience, positivity, kindness, and gentleness, and love for ourselves and others. I want you to challenge yourself. Do this for me. Brilliant 5 days, Monday through Friday this week. Let your words be light. Let your words only show love and light. And if they don't, keep your mouth shut. Just write those thoughts in a journal, speak them into a voice memo, but don't let them out into the public. And then I want to hear from you. What happens? That's your Brilliant 5 strategy challenge for the week, should you choose to accept it. Again, my name's Dr. J. I'm the rebel in the room who believes we can have our cake and eat it too. Let's go, my friends. I'm sending you loads of love and light this week and look forward to seeing you in our next training.